This guy comes up to me. He's like, I'm a thought form. Will you release me?
And then you have to be careful though, because you can get lost in it and want too many answers and be obsessed with, always wanting an answer, always being out of your body. And like you're saying, you have to just, sometimes you got to just
Relax.
Yeah, you got to detach and just experience. You're not supposed to know.
And dude, what I've seen from the astral is that there's parties in the astral. There's actually like sports. People play sports in the astral. I knew that something was weird because like I couldn't look at my hands or anything like that. I think I was just like this thing. And I'm starting to see visions of God dreaming. And he's dreaming the whole universe, dude. And it's beautiful.
This one was fun. He is a out-of-body experiencer. Some similar moments to my kind of history, like where I didn't pop out and like see my own body. But trust me, when you have these experiences in the vibrational state, you just know it's so much different than just a dream. But fascinating regardless. So suspend the disbelief for a little bit here. Really, really, really enjoyed talking with him. We laughed a lot. He's been all over the astral plane. A lot of human-like experiences, like house parties and some other crazy stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you're new here, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. If you've been here, so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are helping me get one step closer to doing this full time, and I can't thank you enough for that. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. No, what's interesting, you're the first person I've come across that admits that too. I'm the same way. When I first started this, I was like, man, this is gonna freak me out. Like if I turn around, I
Yeah,
know I'm gonna get so scared. I just know I will. And it's it's everyone else is like,
yeah,
don't be scared. Like I don't know I don't know who you learned from. Was it Darius or was it someone
yeah.
else
So
or
I really didn't
uh
learn from Darius, right? But
okay.
I followed Darius and I followed some other guys, right? And I had an out of body experience an audiobook from Audible,
Wow.
right? So I've been trying to do
Wow.
that, and but it's scary, man. I've been trying to like let myself go, and just like as they say, like lay flat, focus on your breathing. Every time I do that, my first impulse is to like lay on my side, because I feel the rush. I can feel, you know what it feels like when I do that? It feels like something's vibrating. It's like a shaking.
Okay, so you get the vibrational
Yeah,
experience. I
it's
did
like
too. Where it's insane. It's like I describe it as like every cell in my body is vibrating. Not like people always are like, oh, like an earthquake.
no,
No, like an
it's
internal earthquake. It's like everything. It's gnarly from the
yeah,
center.
man,
Like
yo. You feel
crazy.
it, bro. And I was like, when that happens to me, I'm just like, fuck it. No, man, I'm gonna go. Dude, can I swear on your dude?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah,
Fuck,
yeah.
man. So
Oh,
go ahead, go ahead.
it messed me up, man. I'm same way, and I think what people what's interesting is like you're conscious. So like while it's happening, you're like, oh shit, this is real, because you hear about people talk about it, and then it's happening. At least for me, and I was like, oh my gosh, what they're talking about is real. Because I thought I hit that stage a couple
Yeah,
times, like meditating. I was like, oh, I think I hit the vibrational state. Darius doesn't talk about that. This girl Jade Shaw talks about it. I think that's where I heard it first. Um, and yeah, I thought I hit it a couple times, and then the two times I did hit it, unmistakable. Like you cannot deny that you hit that stage. You will know. I tell people like when you hit it, you will know. It's not going to be like, oh, did I hit it?
no,
It's like
you
no,
will hit
you will
it.
know.
So like, dude, I'll tell you like the beginning of my spiritual
Yeah, tell me,
experiences.
man. Talk to me
Yeah,
about them.
so like I've had multiple spiritual experiences after my 8 grams of mushrooms, man. Which
Okay.
confirmed like so it was last year, it was in winter time. I was so fucking depressed, bro. I was like wrecked, right? And my partner and I, he was like, you know what? Let's see what's going on here. Like, I know mushrooms has worked for you in the past because whenever I do my shrooms, bro, like it's like my rational mind just like focuses in. My emotional mind just dials back a bit because
Oh yeah, it can be impactful. Yeah, when that first time I did it, it was
dude,
pretty intense for
it
sure.
was nice because usually I have like very bad OCD. So usually my mind's scattered, it's moving everywhere, and I'm always getting anxiety and stuff, right? So I'm doing 8 grams of mushrooms, and I'm just like, holy shit, I can't believe this, how much I have to
That's a lot for
eat,
people who don't
bro.
know. That's a lot.
And I don't
It's
like
a good
mushrooms.
amount.
Like it was like at this point, it's like a small plate of like food, man. So
That's what they call the hero's
yeah.
journey. Like that's a big dose. It's a big
So
dose.
I'm eating this. I'm eating these mushrooms. These are golden teacher mushrooms. So I'm eating these mushrooms, and my buddy's like, "Yo." Like smoke a couple of J's, right? My partner's like, smoke a couple of J's. And I'm like, yeah, man. So I smoke a couple of J's, spark it up. Dude, boom. Immediately, I'm hearing this orchestra, this beautiful orchestra that's singing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Thoughts create reality. And it's not, dude, it's something that like it's almost as if like somebody wanted me to pay attention. And they're trying to tell me, yo, he finally fucking gets it. Like he can't turn around. He can't move away. He can't turn back. He can't be afraid of this. And after that, I hear a song that sings, I am God and there is no other. And it repeats and loops. And I'm starting to see visions of God dreaming. And he's dreaming the whole universe, dude. And it's beautiful. And I'm understanding then that like when he kills himself, when he fights with another, he's just fighting himself because he's everything. And dude, not only that, I now understand that God is a storyteller and he puts himself into these stories. That's why you have all these things like soul contracts, you have life reviews, because God has to, he wants his characters to review their lives, almost like authors reviewing a story. And I'm like, I'm getting all this information. And I'm like, holy fuck, bro. Like, this is life changing. I didn't ask for this, but I can't go back. I can't turn around and say, like, oh, my thoughts don't create reality. I can't just be like, oh, that's just nonsense. That's just like pseudoscience. That's just something like that. But because not only that, I got visions of moments in my life where I saw the same message. Dude, okay, this was even crazier. I saw a moment in time. So when my first depressive episode happened, I was probably like 21 or 22, right? So I was so heartbroken about this girl because like she was going through some things. I was depressed at the time. She wanted to break it off. I sat at a coffee shop just chilling, just sad as fuck, man. I'm just thinking like, yo, like my life's not gonna get any better. I'm a bum. Like I got no job. I'm just living with my parents. Nothing's going right for me. This guy comes over, this East Indian guy, right? We start talking. He seems like a cool guy, and he says he's like some sort of shaman guy. And I'm like, bro, I have nothing to do with no shaman, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know what shaman, bro.
I ain't into no shamans, brother.
So we start talking, we start having fun, and then he starts saying to me, when I leave, he said, "Oh, just remember, your thoughts create reality, right?" And I'm seeing myself drawn to certain books, like Conversations with God, me reading these books, me seeing all these books about miracles, and then me seeing a vision of one of my coworkers says, "Hey, you should focus because if you focus on something hard enough, you can make it, you can create it." And after that, I was like, dude, I can't go back. Like, you know what I mean? I can't go back from seeing that. But that's when all these other spiritual experiences started to happen. For example, actually, I'll tell you all. I'll tell you all of them because they're crazy. They're wild
Run
as
it.
hell,
Yeah,
man.
I'm excited.
So my first spiritual experience has to be the out of body experience. So I remember sleeping. I remember going to bed in my bedroom. So my bedroom is right over there, and my hallway is right here, right? So I remember going to bed, sleeping snug, and then next hour, I can't really remember if it's like an hour or two or maybe three, I'm in my hallway. And the first thing I say to myself, because I feel my, it's almost as if, how do I put this? It's like you know your essence is somewhere. You know what I mean? But you know that,
Yeah.
so I knew I went to sleep. But I still felt like I was in this body right here, which I don't know like how to make sense of that.
It's almost like you knew that you felt both. Like you knew that your body was asleep, but then you're like, but
So
I'm
right
also
here,
right
yeah.
here.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah, so like,
That makes
but the
sense.
crazy thing is though, I didn't like, I knew that something was weird because like I couldn't look at my hands or anything like that. I think I was just like this thing. You know what I mean? Like like this sort of awareness. And as soon as I figured that out, I was like, oh shit, oh no. I don't know. No, I was like, fuck no, bro. I'm not.
Did you know about out of body stuff? Like, have you
Yeah,
heard of that
dude, I,
prior
I've
to this
I've heard
or
of out
no?
of body experiences
Oh, okay.
prior to
Okay.
this,
Okay.
right? But like, I've always been afraid of having one, right? And so like when this happened, I was at first shocked. I was a bit scared, and I was like, okay, when will this fucking thing go? Like, I'm trying to like, I don't want to. The first thing I thought said to myself, I don't want to go in my room because I know what that means. I will see myself, and I think for
Mhm.
me, that's very scary. I like, I know other people might be okay with that. They like they vibe with that, but that's for me, that's fucking scary as hell, man. So yeah, I don't know why.
I'm with you, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
with
know
you.
why, but I'm
Scary.
just like, no, I'm not the one, bruh. So, bro,
I've been scared of that kind of stuff since I was little, man. Like, I don't know.
bro,
I just always been, that's
yeah, man,
freaky to me.
dude, I'm hearing
Freaky.
Darius and all these other people talk about out of body experience saying they saw themselves and shit. I'm like, yo, bro, what? Dude, you ain't scared?
I'm gonna try because I do want to just have that moment, but I know it's gonna be scary for me.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna just try to fight through it. But I'm with you.
bro.
Scary.
So yeah, after that, what starts to happen is that the scenery changes, and I'm walking up different stairs, right? And I'm like, damn, I'm actually walking up these stairs. The one stairs looks like a nightclub. And I was like, yo, people are chilling. This is a nightclub area. And I walk up another stairs, and there's this woman there waiting for me. And I can't remember what we talked about, but we start talking about love, the nature of love. And I was like, yo, this is nice. Like dude, she was very respectful. She was very kind. Seemed very like a very loving person, dude. But so that's the one experience that I've had. But the other,
Did you wake up from there? Like the next thing you know, you were
yeah, the
like
next thing
awake.
I knew I was awake. I was like wide awake. I jot up in bed.
So, question for you: how do you distinguish that from a dream? Because there'll be people be like, "That was a dream." How did you know that that wasn't a dream?
How I knew that it wasn't a dream, it was the detail of my hallway. Like I just know that I couldn't fathom the detail, that much detail in my mind. And it was the feeling of
Okay.
being, how do I put this, almost weightless. It, if that makes sense.
Like you've had dreams before, and you're saying this felt more
It felt more
real.
real.
Like the amount of like you're looking around, you're like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
aware, I'm seeing everything, I'm seeing my couch, my hallway, the paint on the wall. Like you're hyper aware. Whereas dreams are kind of loopy. Dreams are like, yeah, they're never that much detail, and they're kind of hazy, right? Like they're just not. Doesn't feel real. Like
real.
dreams don't feel
No.
real to me. The experiences I had felt real. That was the best way I could put some. And I was trying. So I remember I was like in that vibrational state. It sounds like you didn't have that. You kind of just went straight to like, boom, you went to sleep and then you're out. But um, yeah, totally different. Like I know what a dream
Literally,
feels like. I
I
see comments all the
yo,
time like, you were dreaming. I'm like, bro,
no,
I was
man,
not dreaming.
no.
But okay, that's
Bro,
fine.
so my next
That's
experience
fine.
is one that was like mind fucking blowing. So I remember this experience and I was like, dude, this is crazy. So I end up sleeping. All of a sudden, I wake up in a white fucking room, white as hell. The room is so white. The white is blinding, man. It's the most white light that you've ever seen. And a door opens up. I open that door, and it's almost as if it's like a full it's like a room filled with like other doors peeking out. There's like a whole bunch. It's almost like maybe like I imagine it as a circular room, maybe much more bigger than or grander than I can ever imagine. But there's a man and a woman, this East Indian man and this East Indian woman. They look at me, and the woman says, "Welcome home." And I'm like, yo, thank you. And she actually hugged me, dude. Dude, she hugged me.
Oh,
And I was like, yo,
that's
this
cool.
is cool. I was like, yo, I don't know. But like, dude, like when I saw her and I saw the man, and I was like, dude, like I felt so fucking, like,
Did you
I
feel like
feel
you
like I
knew him?
knew him, dude. I
Like
feel like not only
what?
did I know him,
Yeah.
I feel like, dude, yo, they're buddies of mine, bro. Like we could chill, like,
Wow.
dude. And she says, welcome home to me. And I'm like, dude, this is the astral plane. That was my first thought, was like, this is the astral plane. I made it, man. So as soon as I do that, I now understand that thoughts create reality. So I run a test. I say to myself, you know what? I'm an alien. Dude, as soon as I say that, I'm looking outside. I'm looking at the eyes like I'm looking in the eyes of another being. And I remember I looked at my arms and they were all gray. And I was like, yo, yo,
I could be whatever I want. This is
dude,
crazy.
in this state, man, I was so fucking happy. I was, dude, like it was full control. So I remember, so I left this little place that I was in, right? And I remember I went to a seaside small town. So this guy comes up to me. I'm chilling out. I'm meeting different people. This guy comes up to me. He's like, I'm a thought form. Will you release me? And I was like, at that point, I don't know what the fuck a thought. I was like,
Interesting.
dude, I don't know what a thought form is. I had to research it and look at what a thought form is. So I was like, okay, man, you are released. And already this guy disappears. Like he just vanishes. So I did a bit of research on thought forms. Those negative
Later
later,
or
right? The negative
okay, I was like, what did you find? Did you find a
thought,
computer room there or
no,
something?
man.
Just
Thought
kidding.
forms are like obsessive thoughts, dark thoughts manifested, right?
Hmm. Like kind of
Yeah.
stuck, like he was
Oh, remember
stuck
I told you I had
in a.
OCD? So
Mhm.
sometimes in my life I'm replaying the same loops and loops and loops. So
Mm.
I'm creating
Oh, interesting.
I'm creating thought forms. I'm creating like physical embodiments of my fears, right? So the thought form came up to me and said, "Please release me." And I said, "Yo,
Wow.
you are released." And this other
Wow.
dude, this was crazy, bro. This whole fucking thing was crazy. So, dude, so this girl comes up to me. She's like, "Where are you going next?" And I say to her, "I'm going to see God." As soon as I say that, I remember fucking, it was like jetting off, bro. I was jetting off. I was going off the speed of light, baby. Dude, I saw this big light. It looked like a fucking sun, man. Warm as hell. And after that, I saw this disc shaped circular disc in water. Almost looked like this invisible, like water liquid thing around it, right? And it was silver. And something said to me, God is a type of technology. And then I was like, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? And I'm looking at the silver thing. Dude, I draw the silver thing. This is after. I draw the silver thing. I talked to my friend Lisa, who had a near-death experience, and she says she's seen it too. And I'm like, yo, what
Whoa.
the fuck? Dude,
When you say the silver thing, was like it was like a spaceship kind of silver thing, or like
dude,
a
it was like
just a round silver thing, or was it round at all? What
it
like
was
what do you
like a
mean?
round it was like a round disc with like edges on it
Okay.
and stuff like that. Yeah,
Interesting.
man. It was the weirdest fucking thing. It honestly felt like tech. Like tech that we don't have here.
You know, it's interesting. When I was hearing Darius talk, and again, I think anyone who says they know for sure like what's going on is like, well, maybe, but gotta leave it open a
Yeah.
little bit, right? Um, I heard him say though that technology here, which made a lot of sense to me, is just it's like watered down versions of what we have on the other side. Because people are like, well, why would you see like tablets and stuff? Like that's just your brain making it up. And he's like, well, what if it's actually reversed? Like we have that stuff on the other side, and then when you get here, that's why we're able to create it. It's like that idea comes to someone,
Yeah.
right? And they're whether it's Steve Jobs or whatever the case may be, and they recreate a form of something that we already
Yeah,
have.
dude.
And so when you're on the other side, there is this technological element to it where it's very advanced and
Dude.
very like there's I've heard him say there's
Dude.
screens. I've never seen anything like that,
Dude.
but
Like yo.
sounds kind of like that.
We're getting into spots, dude. Yo. So after seeing this fucking circular thing, I remember I went to talk to somebody, and this one guy, he drew this. He drew three like oval lines, right? Sorry, no, two oval lines. It was two oval lines. He said one was Earth, the other is the astral plane. So Earth was like right here, and the astral plane is over there. Almost as if like he was saying that the astral plane is like in the stars, right? And I was like, yo, I get that. I understand that. I understand that. But then the crazy thing, I said to myself, look, this is getting crazy. I want to go back home. I want to like because like I know where I am. I just want to go back home. dude, this is where it gets really scary. This is where it gets really fucking scary. Is that I wake up and my partner, he wakes up and we both say to each other, "Yo, did you see that? Did you feel that?" He's like, "Yeah, man, did you see that?" And he's saying, "Yeah, I felt that. That was crazy." And then there's a person in between us. I don't know who they are, but I'm like, "Wait a minute, this isn't my reality." Yeah, man. So I went back to sleep in my dream again, and then I woke up.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
It's like some
Dude,
Inception
dude,
type
dude,
shit.
it's crazy shit, man. And then when Lisa told me that like she was when she after a near death experience, she was drawing the same circular shape. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this, man? But dude, once you see this thing, this like disc thing, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. It was beautiful, man. And scary at the same time.
Wow. So how long ago was this? When did this happen?
Dude, I think this happened like 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah.
Okay, so this is
This is
pretty
recent.
recent. Okay. How has this changed things for you? Is that your last one, or
No,
did you have
this isn't
other?
my last one, man.
Okay,
This my,
keep
my
going,
my
keep
last
going.
my
I
last
want to
one
hear
happened
some.
a month ago, man. Because
Okay,
I've been smoking a lot of Saza, right? Because like I've been
okay,
smoking some weed just to get help myself go to sleep because
sure.
I have insomnia, right? And I've had sleep paralysis as a kid too, right? Which like is the beginning of an out of body experience. That's why sometimes I'm afraid to go to sleep, man. I don't want to be out and just see myself, you know? So
It's scary. Sleep process,
yeah,
very
scary as
scary.
hell, man. Anybody who I know Darius will say like, "Oh, don't be afraid," and like, it's the beginning of the stage. I'm like, bruv, if you like, it's scary. Like he waters it down, but it's scary, man. It's for me, it's scary.
Especially if you don't know what it is. Like when you're a kid, like this happened. My first time was a kid. I was in high school, and it was so scary, man. I thought I was the devil. I was
Yeah,
like, all
man,
right,
dude.
I felt like a being in the
Yeah,
corner. I couldn't move, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I was in my room. I was like, I cannot move. My arms aren't working. What the hell is going on? I was so scared,
dude.
so
This didn't
scary.
happen. I was 19 when it happened, man, and I saw this shadow, almost like the shadow creeping, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Yo, what the fuck is that, man?" And I was screaming,
It's weird that people talk about similar things, Johnadeen.
"Yeah,
Like it's
man,
like you just talked about a shadow. I've heard other people talk about they see a shadow. Some people see things on top of them. Like it's very interesting that in that moment, a lot of people see similar things. It's interesting.
dude, dude." Like, sorry. Let me continue to my next experience, right? My recent experience. My most recent experience was so I've been having dreams about my parents for some reason, right? So I'm in my parents' house in this spot, and there's this girl that I used to date back in the day. She was nice, man, back in the day. You know what I mean? She was a sweet lover. She comes over to me and she says, why don't you go to sleep, right? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, why don't I go to sleep? I close my eyes in a dream, and I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want to go to sleep. I think this is a dream. And as soon as I thought, hey, this is a dream. And then I said to myself, fuck, thought forms. As soon as I said that, I thought that, oh, it was like a whole bunch of fucking zombie-like fucking creatures rushing at me. And I always remember, no matter where I am, my thoughts create reality. I remember putting my hand up and saying, I am God and I choose love. And as soon as I said that, dude, all I saw was a vision of bright lights, brightest fucking lights. And then I saw myself actually tumbling down, coming back to my room. Beautiful, man. It was like, dude, like, I think what I'm getting at from these spiritual experiences, I think it's from my soul trying to say to me, like, don't forget that you're in control, that you choose. And after that, man, I've had other experiences where like communicating with my spirit guides too as well, and what they've told me about the afterlife and multiple realities. They've told me that multiple realities exist, and what we call sleeping is that we go into these multiple realities. Yeah.
Wow. So you're definitely you're you're starting to like you're able to wake up a lot inside
Yeah.
your dreams and remember and have experiences through that. That's pretty intense, man. How how is that changing your day-to-day life? Like, are you walking around just like, oh my God, last night? Are you telling everyone? Are you kind of like walking around like you're in a movie now? Like,
Like a
how has that
simulation?
affected you as far
Dude,
as,
dude.
yeah, like your
Yeah.
day-to-day kind of like, do you have a job? Like, what's going on? How does that
How does it
affect
affect
things
my
for you?
day to day? No, man. For my
Yeah.
day to day, man, I put it back on the back burner, right? But like
Okay.
it's helps me remember to not take life too seriously, man. You know what I mean?
I
Because
like that.
like when you actually think about it, when we talk about like this being a dream of God, right? If God is dreaming, and he's always going to be dreaming. What I've learned is that like we are all fractals of this one energy, this one God energy, and that like he's just dreaming that he's just dreaming that there is separation between all of us. But it's all his dream, and he can never die. Even when he calls death, it's just another dream that he goes to, another construct, as Darius Wright would say. So it has made me more. It's made me more. How do I put this? Don't take life too seriously. I'm less. I'm more fun. I'm more engaging. I more want to be in the present moment, and I more want to like help as many people as I can. That's all.
That's awesome, man. I think that's a great message because so many people get so, myself included, you just like start taking it way too serious. And it's like, man, you just need to relax a
Yeah,
little bit, dude.
man.
Just have some fun and smile a little more. Like, yeah, don't take yourself too seriously, too. That's really important. I think that's a really, really important lesson for everybody. Don't take yourself too
And
serious.
learn how to detach too,
Don't do
man.
that.
I feel like detachment is like the key when it comes to
Yeah.
life because people get so caught up in their emotions about certain things, about the past, about the future. Sometimes it's just good to let go, man. Just say, you know what?
Mhm.
Whatever will happen will happen.
Yeah. And when you start having these experiences, at least for me, I'll just speak about my own
Yeah,
experience.
I'd love
You
to.
you can get caught up in wanting to keep having
Yeah,
them, right? And like wanting answers. And I remember the first time I spoke with a medium, and I felt like I really did connect with my grandpa on the other side. I was like, whoa. And or, I would have. She was very intuitive, and she could give me answers to things. You have to be careful because when these things start happening, you mentioned it earlier, it changes your perspective. Once that's changed, you can't go back. It's not like
no,
you can unsee it or
no,
unforget it. You're kind of already on a different path now, and then you have to be careful though, because you can get lost in it and want too many answers and be obsessed with, always wanting an answer, always being out of your body. And some, like you're saying, you have to just, sometimes you got to just,
relax.
yeah, you got to detach and just experience. You're not supposed to know all the
No,
answers.
no,
Yeah, or you're supposed to figure it out a little bit yourself, right? So they're not going to give you the answer.
no, no, dude.
So,
I feel like I'm saying before, like people talk about life being a simulation, right? And they act as though it's a very like trivial thing. Like, oh man, like I've heard a lot of many New Agers do the whole simulation theory, and they're just like, oh, this life is just a simulation. Like, nothing really matters. No, dude, it matters, man. It matters because when you think about it, though, God, or what I call the I am, which I've been channeling this being called the I am when I'm meditating. Like it matters to God that you are here, you exist, and you're alive. He wouldn't have created you, and he wouldn't have make you if he didn't think that your life didn't matter. So whether
yeah.
it's a simulation, whether it's a dream, dude, here's the crazy thing is, no matter what, your God, the consciousness can do nothing but dream. It can do nothing but think. It can do nothing but create. So whether you call its creation simulations, not reality, unreality, it still matters.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
man, it still
I feel
matters.
that.
Your life matters, man.
Were you always this way, or did these experiences kind of like really uh, accelerate this like way of thinking for you, or have you always kind of been like
You know
a
what?
spiritual
I've
guy?
always been a spiritual person, but I feel as though it's almost as if something's guiding me. Like when I look back at my life, the random occurrences, people talk about this thing called like soul contracts or something like that, where like
Hmm.
there's like certain, it's almost as if this is my theory on this. It's as if like you have free will, right? You can do anything you want, But if we're talking about God as a storyteller, if you're a storyteller, and I'm a storyteller too, I'm a writer by profession too. So what I tend to do when I'm writing, I write the characters down, I write the settings down, I write the pivotal points the character is going to hit. Maybe they're going to go through some sorrow, maybe they're going to go through some struggles, and then I write their rise to reclaiming who they are, finding the truth. That's what God has done for all of our lives. All of our lives. He's written who you are as a character. He then puts himself, and then he forgets that he's God. But he makes certain pivotal points so that the character can hit. And after the story ends, he gives the character a life review, and the character says, you know what? I should have probably done this a little bit better. Next time, next life, next story, I'm going to do this again. God is the biggest storyteller. If you can remember that he's a storyteller, dude, your whole life will fucking unravel and be amazing.
That's cool. I subscribe to that too, man. I do feel like there's these like big moments that we planned, and then other than that, it's kind of
Never
like
happened.
that's part of
Yeah,
the
it's
ride.
part of the
It's like you're
ride, man.
here and things are gonna
Yeah,
happen, and you're gonna make choices. And when you look back on it, you're like, wow, with a little more awareness or a
yeah.
little
I
more
should have
love, maybe I would have
did
went down
that
that
path.
path. But regardless, I would have hit these markers, and that's kind of I don't know. I like
Yeah,
that. Just like you said, that's how we do movies. That's how we create.
stories, dude.
Yeah,
When you actually look at what you're probably, dude, you're gonna have a lot of people, probably many other guests talk about their near-death experiences and stuff like that. When you actually look at what they're talking about, their lives up to that point and their life reviews, you're like, this is a character reviewing their story, dude. And I think that's what God is, because the whole story, the big story, is that it's a love story. All of creation is a love story, like God reviews.
for
Yeah,
sure. And the thing that I've had to really work on, and a lot of people I see it in other comments, I see it in other videos, it's the evil shit in this world that gets kind of hard to
yeah,
like accept. However, what I can accept, I can take it down to like a really small level, and when it makes sense on a small level, I can understand at least that maybe I don't get it, but I could see how it makes sense on the bigger shit. Like, um, just as a super small example, you can't appreciate nighttime without having the
yeah,
daytime, right? Like, if it was just all nighttime, you just wouldn't even know what daytime was like. Vice versa, like you can't appreciate what something that's sweet is if you haven't tasted sour.
yeah.
Like you do need
Contrast,
that contrast. Yeah, you
duality.
have to. And so I can understand that on a really trivial or like non-trivial level, but when it starts getting to like murder and some like kind of gnarlier stuff that happens to people, it's harder to accept, right? But I guess you have to have the contrast. That's the best way to explain it. It's like you have to have this
Well, let me
stuff
tell you something. Let me ask you
um,
a question.
for anything to make sense.
Let me ask you a question. If you're writing a story, right? Let's say you're writing a story and you're putting your characters in this world. Would you make it so that they experience no drama, no pain, no suffering, no nothing, no hardships, decline?
Super boring.
Would you
Nobody's
would you would you
watching that
would you
movie.
watch a story like that? Would you find
Absolutely
that
not.
fun?
Nope.
Dude, exactly. You prove my point, bro. So I
Yeah, we love
we
the
love
comeback,
we
right? Like
love
we
we
love
love the
movies where
comeback.
someone's like fucking eating
Yeah,
dirt and you're like, wow, and then they come back and
yeah.
win. Like we
We,
love
we
that.
love the comeback. We love, unfortunately, in a world like that, if we're talking about storytelling, you would also have the opposite. It's suffering as well too. And I think and I think having it suffering shows us who we are and who we are not. This world of contrast shows you who you are and who you are not based on your thoughts, your words, and your actions, right? You can say, oh shoot, I'm not that guy that's gonna murder this person. So it gives you that contrast. Oh, this is who I am. I'm a peaceful, loving, gentle person. And that world of contrast honestly makes the story. It gives the story life. Without contrast, there is no life in the story.
I totally agree with
Yeah,
that. I think it also shows me how close I am to some of these things that I think are so gnarly. And like, I don't know, I've had moments in my life where I'm like, wow, like people think they're so different from the maybe they're a lot different than the mass murders, I guess. But I'm just saying, like, we're all a lot more closer than you think, and
yes,
or in your theory, right? We all like you are both Hitler and
yeah,
Gandhi, technically.
yeah,
Like you're experiencing different. I don't know. And I really feel this like I feel that everyone who did gnarly things never believed that they were doing something bad. And vice versa, like all these different situations in people's lives, they're not, I don't feel like anyone's going out there being like, I just want to be a piece of shit today. Like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe. I
yeah.
don't
Well,
know. Do you get what I'm
dude,
saying? Kind of?
I understand, right? I totally understand. You know when we talk about soul contracts, right? Your soul
Hmm.
contract is pretty much like stuff like your height, your genes, your the parents, the sort of like mentors that you will have, right? But
Hmm.
within that story, there's also your free will as well too, right? But this is where compassion comes in. If you know, and if you I like and like it's one thing to know, but when you actually feel the oneness of the universe, like I have, you will understand that all of it is love. All of it is love. Although it to us there's this perceived darkness, everything comes back to love. And there's nothing to fear. There is no because God has nothing to fear. He's God.
I think I'm still working. Like, I hear that and I understand that intellectually. But when I do think about the Hitlers of the world or like my specific thing, like when I think about like, kids and like that kind
Yeah,
of stuff, like when bad things happen to little kids, I still have a really
dude.
hard time.
You know,
It just doesn't make sense. It does and it doesn't. Like I still just it's just really hard
you
for
know what
me.
the funny thing is though? Like that's it's hard for me too to understand it, right? From a, like because I'm looking at it from a human perspective when I hear stuff about
Hmm.
like people getting essayed or murdered and stuff like that. Like that to me is like I always say to myself like did they really people say that and this whole life lesson thing has to stop. This idea that I hate when people come up to me and say stuff like, "Oh, well, those person needed to learn a life lesson," or like it was part of their soul
Hmm.
plan or whatever. One, you don't know what their soul contract was. Two, you don't know if that experience was a life lesson or not. And honestly, like that this life lesson thing is just I feel as though that like no loving God would ever put himself through a life lesson like that. You know what I mean? But yet there are things that happen to people still. So I understand why there's this like two sort of warring thoughts happening, that duality happening. So I understand it, dude.
I think it's the hardest thing you can
Yeah,
contemplate, right? Like it's easy to talk about like I don't know, like losing your job or so, like that's
yeah,
hard. But like when I think these are the bigger questions, right? Like why we're here. But those are the experiences that I think people shy away from talking about, I think. But I'm not afraid to at least say like I still don't get it or I have a hard time with it or
yeah,
like I don't know. That's just like me. I'm still working through that part of my journey. I think that's why I have guests on. Like I enjoyed your view. I like that you said it was this is a big story. Like that's cool. I like that perspective of thinking about it like that. Um, because everything I bring up, I genuinely struggle with, like myself. Like I'm trying to like understand things, and selfishly, I bring people on to like hear their story, of course. But I like to hear your perspective because you've been through things that I have not been through, and it's interesting to see that because of what you've been through, you feel this way about a situation, or vice versa. I think
yeah.
that's cool.
And the crazy thing about it is that I'm still struggling with the problem of evil myself too, Ryan, because I've seen a lot of love in my life, and I've seen a lot of evil, and I've seen a lot of people do some evil things, and you know what I mean? For example, I was once the witness to a violent crime. Yeah, in my hometown, and seeing that violence, this crime actually led to someone's death. Seeing that violence and that criminality, I was like, there was nothing I could do, right?
It's gnarly.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I feel like although I can say that God is love and this is God's story, right? I sometimes want to be like, look, man, if this is your story, like, can I interject and be like, can I do a real rewrite of some things
Yeah. Can
around
we
this?
can we
Can I
change the
change the
story?
stories, man? I
For
wouldn't
sure.
mind, man. Because I'm like you too. Because sometimes I'm like like there are certain life lessons that like some people don't need to go through to learn that to learn those lessons, right? Like
Yeah.
For
Yes.
example, a little
Yes.
kid losing his father at the age of like 6. Yeah, he learned the life lesson of loss and love and whatever, but does he really need to go through that to learn that though?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, yeah, these are the things where, like, okay, so me being an example, I have two young daughters now. I have a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old, and I would never, never, ever. I don't care how many times you can ask me this. I'll probably, I was 1,000 times. I'm gonna say it 1,000 times. No, I do not want to experience what it's like to lose my daughters.
Of
No,
course
I don't
not.
want to experience it. I don't want. That's not the story I want to go through. And so I do have a hard time, yeah, accepting when, like, again, it's easy to think about it and be like,
Yeah.
okay, I could see, yeah, like if you really wanted to experience what it was like to lose, that would be one of the ultimate ones, is like experiencing losing someone you care about so much, like a daughter or son. But damn, I'm not like, I don't want to experience that. Like I'm good. I'd rather just like intellectually be like, sure, I understand that that's a gnarly lesson, but
But you know, this is where
I don't want
this
to
is
learn that.
where this is where the prison planet theory comes in that I hear a lot of people talk about. That prison planet theory. Honestly, bro, like when I'm in the astral, I am free. Like the amount of freedom and like okay, so I have obsessive thoughts, right? When I'm in the astral, I'm free from everything. It just feels like
Interesting.
I'm love, I'm light. Everything is just pure freedom. I come back here, I'm like, fuck. It's almost as if like when I'm here, there's so much limitations and there's so much fear because I'm always like, oh shoot, what's gonna happen in a day ago or a day or two from now or three weeks from now? Like I need to get this, I need to get make sure my apartment's this way. My cousin's coming in. I gotta find this new job. Like there's so much fear in this realm. So I understand why some people would classify this place as a prison planet, but I'm telling you right now, man, like freedom. On the other, I don't know if this place is a prison planet or not. I can't attest to that, but I'm going to tell you on the other side, there's complete freedom. There's no fear, and if there's fear, you all you do is control your thoughts, and wherever your thoughts go is where you'll go.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't like that theory personally. It's just, again, I think it's based in fear, and I
Yeah,
don't like that. Um, yeah, so this is why, like, out of all the subjects, out of everything that have found in spirituality, out of body experiences to me are like the most fascinating. Number one, because I've had, moments where I'm like, whoa, and I'll never forget those. And I've taken a lot of drugs,
dude,
buddy.
dude,
Okay,
dude,
so
dude,
I've
dude,
so
my
I've had some.
mushroom, yeah,
I say that because I've had some experiences that I went, wow,
yeah,
but I took something. This was full
yeah, dude,
sober natural, and it was just as equally as like paradigm shifting. Where I was like,
yeah,
whoa, 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 whoa. I'm fascinated by it, and I'm going to continue down this path and see where it leads me, man. But I think the next battle for me will be turning around and seeing myself. I do want to do
yeah,
that
dude, like dude,
because it's a fear of mine, and I got to conquer that. I
yeah,
feel
I
like
feel like
so.
you gotta conquer that aspect first to really fully immerse yourself in it. It's weird. It's weird how like my subconscious mind knows this is a fear of mine, so it just like brings me there where I need to go
Yeah,
without
that's cool.
actually, which is cool. I like that. But one of these days, I really want to do like you said, actually like look at the body and see what.
Yeah, you're the first person I came across. I think mine did the same. Like, I'm glad you said that because the first two experiences I had, I was not in my apartment, or like, I was not in my like house. So I was in a totally separate place. But again, I felt very
Yeah,
real, and I know what a dream's like. I've had lucid dreams before. I say that technically it launched me into lucid dream because I wasn't in my own place. Um, and so until I do that, I will not officially say like a man. I don't care. I still was. I had the vibration. I felt myself floating. So I had all that. I've never turned around and been like, oh, there I am. And I wanna do that. But I do feel like where I was, and now listening to more of Darius and you and other people, like I think the next time that happens to me, I'm gonna ask to like go outside of this place. I want to, like, yeah, I want to travel and I want to meet
dude,
other beings and
you,
talk to
you know what the
them,
crazy
and
thing is though?
that would be so fun.
Bro, I think Darius is right. So remember, I was telling you, in that place that I was in the astral realm, I
Hmm.
saw
Hmm.
somebody was teaching me that Earth is like a dome, and then the astral is in the stars. Like I think Darius is right when he says that like this is gonna be fucked up. This is what I'm gonna say is kind of fucked up. because I know where Darius would go with this, but I want to say it's kind of fucked up. He talks about like something called the firmament or something like or something like
Hmm.
there's like a dome in the sky and like the stars and
Yeah, as above,
as
so
above
below
so
kind of
below.
thing. He talks about
Yeah,
what.
the
Hmm.
idea that like the actual heaven is actually like an astral place up there, right? Dude, I think
Hmm.
that's what it's like. I actually think that's what it's like. I think that like I think the actual like stars is where we go to, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah, it does. It's super interesting. There's other religions too that touch on this. Like Buddhism talks about that, where
different
there's
levels.
different
Yeah, there's
levels. It's
different
almost
levels.
as if everyone is talking about a similar
Yeah.
thing, but everyone has their own perspective based on where they grew up and what's happened to them. But yeah, Darius has talked about some wild shit. He's talked about some stuff where I definitely was like, I don't know, man. Like he's talked about some, I think, I don't want to say flat Earth, but he definitely talks about like Antarctica being something strange, or, and like maybe I don't know,
Well,
but he's talked about things that I'm like that are so advanced and beyond just like my,
yeah.
my experience, and I'm like, I don't know, dude, I don't know what's
Well,
going
well,
on. But his techniques have helped me leave, have my experiences. So I'm like, well,
dude, I like
hey, buddy.
I totally respect like the flat Earth. It gets me a little bit because like okay, the reason why I say the flat Earth is a little bit strange is because like if I say this is a simulation, a simulated reality, right? That consciousness has nothing to do but to simulate it. It's reality. I feel like some people will view this place as flat, and some people will view it as round, no matter what the evidence is, right? So if we live in a world where like it's almost simulated, you'll find evidence for like different sides of the opinion.
Hmm.
So you'll never
Hmm.
really know at that point. It all comes to belief and faith.
Yeah, it's also yeah,
Yeah,
and also like his we will never know what he's experienced. Just like you will never know what mint tastes like to
yeah,
me, right? Or like what like you'll never know those
yeah.
things. So like Darius is he's having his own experience. So I don't know if everything he's saying is verbatim or if it's just his thing. However, I will say that he's consistently been able to leave so many times. He talks about the same things, and other people who I've talked to that have learned from him and have left this construct have also talked about similar things. So I'm like,
Dude,
wow, it's just
dude,
fascinating. It's all
the
fascinating.
astral is fucking fascinating because I
It's
remember being
fascinating.
in the astral at a house party in the astral realm. Dude, this was cool. This was fucking cool. So I'm at a house party, right? I see myself at a house party. I see a girl coming up. She's smiling at me. You know how I am, bro. You know I'm gonna do my thing, right? Yo, bro. Yo, I'm in the astral, man. It's all love, baby. So I go up to her, and I'm like, I go up to touch her, dude. My hands pass right through. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh.
Dude, I'm like, yo, what? And she feels, it almost feels like this cold gelatin-like thing. And I'm like,
Mm.
yo, this is wild, bro. So as soon as I say, yo, I want these people to be solid, we actually touch. We actually touch.
See, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard of both. I've heard of people who say you go through things. I've heard of people say it's real. It felt
Dude,
real for me. I don't remember touching something in my experience. Uh,
dude,
but yeah,
the
that's
astral
cool.
feels real. It feels this is real as
Hmm.
this world.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
trippy.
dude, what I've seen from the astral is that there's parties in the astral. There's actually like sports, people play sports in the astral. Dude, like it's its own.
That makes sense to me. I mean, that's what we do here, and it's fun. That makes sense to me that there would be sports and fun things. Like, I think people are thinking it's just like you're just again because probably because of religion, and we're also trained and like programmed that there's like heaven and hell, and that's really it. And like once you're out, like this whole idea there's different worlds and multiple worlds and all you can infinite amount of things you can experience. So of course there's going to be
Dude,
sports and there's going to be games we've never heard of.
dude,
Of course. Of
and
course.
dude, when I was in the astral, bro, like as so I was going to what looks like a football game in the astral, right? And I remember I was like, dude, I like suits. Why don't I buy a suit? As soon as I said that, a nice suit emerged, dude. Dude, there's
That's
like
cool.
once you actually know how to visit the astral realm, man, and stay in there, anything is possible in the astral realm, man. You can meet all sorts of beings, go anywhere, meet anybody.
That's cool. It sounds fun, man. And to those who say it's just your brain, like fine, dude, still sounds
Dude,
fun. I still want to do it.
do it, man, do it.
Okay.
Learn it.
I'm gonna keep chugging, man. Like I said, I had to take a little break because of my kids, but I think yeah, I want to keep pushing because there's just a lot of just the more I talk to people, I'm like, man, I gotta try it. I gotta keep
Yeah,
going.
man. Dude,
Actually
you know,
come.
I'm gonna do the same thing that you said I should do actually, is to look at my body the next time. I think that will be like,
I think if it's a fear of yours,
yeah,
they always say like through that fear, no matter what it is exactly what you need to go through. So I believe that.
yeah.
So maybe hit me up,
Hey,
dude.
for
If you
sure.
do
And
it, you see it, you gotta
I'll
let me know.
definitely
I'll
hit
do
you
you the
up, bro.
same. I'll All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you, man. This has been a lot of fun, fascinating stories. Thank you for coming on and sharing them, and I'm excited for you. Sounds like you're starting to like wake up a lot in your dreams, and so I'm excited for the other house parties you're gonna go to and all the other crazy
Dude,
shit. So
yo,
it's cool,
that's
man.
awesome, man. It's nice talking to you though, eh?
Yeah, same, man. I'll let you know when this goes live. Other than that, my brother, we will
All
we'll
right,
talk
brother. You
soon.
take care, man. Peace.
Cool, man. Cheers. Bye.